a few days ago. There had been some tears, but Aunt Emma was happy Yvonne was venturing off on a new journey, something her aunt had thought she needed since Trevor died. If all of this change wasn't enough, Yvonne would now have to face Abraham Byler, an Amish man who had traded his suspenders and buggy for a job as a policeman, for the first time in a year. He'd taken a liking to Yvonne at Eva and Jake's wedding, and had even written to her in Houston several times. The letters had never been very long, but always sweet. He would ask how she was doing, wish her well, and often include a prayer before closing with "Blessings to you, Abraham." Yvonne had been drawn to Abraham at the wedding, too, and even gone on a walk with him. She'd been surprised how easily they had connected, and their conversation hadn't felt like just small talk. But she'd felt guilty about being attracted to him only 5 months after Trevor's death, so she hadn't written him back, and his letters stopped coming 3 months ago. Maybe after a year and a half it was time to jump back into the dating game. Abraham seemed like a kind man, who happened to be incredibly handsome. A tall guy with dark hair and dreamy blue eyes. Her stomach flipped when she thought about the possibility of going out with him, even though she was nervous about having to face him. Surely Eva or Jake had told him she was moving to Montgomery. They were pretty good friends. Yvonne smiled. Change was in the air, and she prayed hard that this would be a good move for her. Chapter 1. Yvonne stood behind the counter at the bookstore as Jake stroked his beard and stared at a list of notes he had written down. When he looked up, she smiled. "What?" he asked, grinning. "I'm still getting used to that beard." She mimicked his hand by rubbing her chin. "But it totally works for you." Amish men remained clean-shaven until they were married. Then they never trimmed or cut their facial hair again, except above their lip. No mustaches were allowed. He chuckled. "Eva says it's scratchy." His forehead creased with concern. "Are you sure you feel comfortable enough to be here on your own? I can stay a little longer if you want me to." She shook her head. "Nope, I'm good. You've got a sick father and a bedridden wife. Take care of your family, and I'll see you later for dinner. And remember that I'm bringing pizzas." Jake had spent 3 days training her, and in the evenings she'd joined him and Eva for dinner at their house. Supper, as they called the evening meal. Jake's mother had been doing most of the cooking since Eva was supposed to rest most of the day. Tonight, Yvonne wanted to treat them. She'd told Eva she would bring enough pizza for Jake's parents, too. Eva had told her once that pizza was an indulgence and that they all loved it. "I will call you if I have any questions or problems." Most of the Amish people in the area, except for some of the elders, had cell phones to be used for business or emergencies, Eva had told her. "Yeah, okay then," Jake smiled. "We're happy to have you here, and the timing was perfect for you to take the job." "I'm glad to be here, too." She motioned toward the door. "Now go. I'll take good care of the place." He hesitated, but finally moved toward the door. "Donkey, Yvonne," he said over his shoulder. The bell jingled as he exited the building. Yvonne pulled her sweater snug around her. There was a nice fire going in the wood-burning stove not far from where she stood, but a blast of cool air had snuck in when Jake opened the door. She glanced up at the skylights, reminding herself there was no electricity in the entire store. It didn't present any real problems, except she missed having a microwave. There was a propane burner on the kitchen counter in the back room, but it wasn't the same as quickly zapping a meal, and the manual credit card machine was a hindrance. Still, she was grateful to be here in this new environment. It was only 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, and so far there hadn't been any customers, so she decided to peruse the shelves. She loved books, the way they smelled, how they felt in your hands. She gingerly ran her hand along some titles Jake had just unpacked and put on the shelf. She'd already studied the inventory they had in stock. There was a nice assortment of fiction and nonfiction. Jake had told her all of the books were clean reads, but he did carry romance, mystery, and thrillers, along with an assortment of biographies, Bibles, and other religious books. Jake had also told her that his customers were Amish and English, their term for non-Amish people. Yvonne glanced over her shoulder when the bell on the door jingled, and a lovely woman about her age walked in. She was tall and thin, with rich, glowing auburn hair that hung in graceful curves just past her shoulders. She was wearing a stylish brown pantsuit with tan stilettos. Yvonne eyed her own blue jeans, casual white